Hey folks, how's it going? It's your favorite realtor, Evan Saint-Gerard from Keller Williams Realty. I'm here to give you the best information possible. Last year basically was kind of crazy, let's be honest. And a lot of stuff basically has affected businesses, individual people. So I want to make sure I get the right people who can help you navigate through whatever you're going through, whether it's financial, real estate, or health, mental, whatever it is, basically. I want to make sure I get you the right people that can help you. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to Wayne Scully. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
Sure.
right. Wayne, tell them who you are, what you do, how long you've been in the business.
First of all, Evans, thanks for having me. That's the first thing. So my name is
Thank you.
Wayne Scully. You're welcome. Name is Wayne Scully, and my firm is W Scully CPA PC, and my firm specializes in offering solutions to help taxpayers, individuals, and businesses, do better and not pay the IRS any money at all, which is kind of hard to.
Any extra money you mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard not to pay them anything, but if we could, we would, right? But legally, we have to pay them something for the most part. So I offer tax planning and tax prep for businesses, and basically that's to make sure that you're prepared and not scared, as one of my friends would say. You come prepared and not scared, and so you
I
can
like
avoid
that.
having tax problems in the future. So that tax problems in the future will, which is where I would come in to help you to fix those. But we want to avoid you from having that issue to begin with. So the goal is to plan and ahead, prepare, meaning being compliant with the rules, so you avoid having to deal with a resolution issue later on. So that's the goal. So and actually specialize in realtors and helping people in the real estate industry and medical pros. So those are the folks I generally focus on. However, I will help anyone if they come to me with a concern. I'll be able to advise them. So as far as what's happening now, we know with COVID and what's been, it's had a financial strain on a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of individuals. There's a lot of unemployment going on, which is about to come to an end for most people. And on the business side, and before we even get to that, there's stimulus payments that were made. And so the
Yeah.
government is really trying, its best to really help folks out along the way. Hopefully, more people, if you believe in the vaccines or not, they say they work. So hopefully people get on top of that and get things, the ball rolling so we can get back to some kind of normalcy. In any event, on the business side, there are a lot of programs that happened. We all know they had
The PPP
a
loans.
PPP loans, and they had now they're still running the EIDL loans. The PPP, those were forgiven. The EIDL, those you have to pay back, but it's really phenomenal, right? Because 3.75% rate on for 30 years. I mean, you're not gonna get it anywhere, right? I mean, if it's a personal loan, no matter what you call it, borrowing from your 401k, whatever it is, you want to start a business or you're in business that you're trying to save your business and you have no other options, that's probably a good thing to consider. And that
I'm
program
I'm I'm
continues
glad
until December 31st.
I'm glad you brought that up because unfortunately, a lot of things happened last year where people, they had their whatever the situation was, they had their main job, and unfortunately, that main job disappeared. It kind of forced a lot of people to be creative, and they have had a dream for a long time. And then you know what? They took that opportunity last year, like you know what? I've always had this dream. I want to make this a reality, and they took last year to make it into reality. And they're like, you know what? This is the industry or the business I actually want to do. Everything forced my hand to actually follow my dreams, and now I'm making my dream an actual reality by
Right, right,
creating
right,
into a business.
right, right,
So
right.
a lot of people have jumped into that, and they're becoming very successful.
Great, yeah.
Now you create a new business. What are you supposed to be doing tax wise?
Tax wise, I mean, you need to first listen to your tax advisor, your account. That's the first step, I'd say. Listen, be studious about that because if that person should be able to help you to avoid some of the pitfalls that exist. You don't want to be at the last minute like some clients I come across where they have no books and records and okay, how do I prepare this return? Where's your profit and loss statement? For those who don't know that, that's where you account for your income and your expenses, right? So if you don't have that, as a baseline and your balance sheet, it's going to be hard to prepare a return for a business. Individuals are different. If
Mhm.
you have if you're employed by someone, you get a W-2. As long as you have that, we're pretty straight with that. But on the business side, you really need to be diligent about, keeping good records, and paying attention to detail. If you can't do it yourself or you're overwhelmed, which I actually advise folks to not try to do that themselves, especially if the
Hire a
business is
CPA.
sizable, hire someone, a bookkeeper to start if you don't, you know what I mean? Because
Yes, definitely
probably less
hire
expensive to
someone.
do that. Hire someone to do the books for you so that when it comes down to preparing the return, we run some reports and then we're on our way. We may have some questions on the way, but it won't be as tedious a task as, starting from scratch. I've had to look at people's bank statements to try to figure stuff out. And it's just
Yes,
not a good place to be, right? So you want to be prepared, not scared, as I said before. Because
yes,
if you're not prepared, you stand a chance of paying too much taxes. And who the hell wants to do that? So that's one of the things I'd say. Make sure that you have the proper structure in place, meaning the formation of your business. Are you going to be an LLC, or are you going to be a corporation? You know what I mean? Or are you going to just be a sole proprietorship and know the legal ramifications and the tax ramifications of each one? So that's part of the planning that I do when I help people, right? So initially, when you're a startup, that's one of the things you want to know. Well, you want to know your name, the name of your business. You want to make sure you properly organize or that entity in the right form. So those are like key things. And you're gonna pay something, right? But the goal is to minimize that as best we can under the letter of the law. So that's I mean, it's probably high level. I could probably go into more technical things, but I think in general most people can relate to that stuff. It's just being prepared, and part of that is just listening, right, and getting
well,
clarification.
I would say the first thing is hiring first, then listen.
Well, yeah, this is true. This is true. But for people who are listening or are going to watch this video, they
Mhm.
need to know that they need to listen. Well, listen to
Yes,
go get
listen.
the right people. But these are some of the characteristics or traits you're going to look for when you are doing it yourself. Or some people decide to do it themselves. You know what I mean? Some people decide to do it themselves, and there's no way you can tell them not to because they see it as a cost center to hire someone. And
Yes,
from their perspective, they're starting out. So you know what? I'm going to try it myself and see what works. And if anything, later on, I'll hire someone. Not the right strategy, not the best ideal way to do it, but some people, and I tell you, the IRS prefers that you're in compliance, at least even somehow, in some way or fashion, than not filing a return at all. So, and you don't want to be in that situation where you have 3, 4, 5 years passing and you haven't filed a return. So, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't file a proper return, but if the person you have these things now like the turbo taxes of the world where you can go and do
yes,
yourself, it's still better than not doing it at all. You know what I mean? You may come
yeah.
across some issues doing that, but it's still better than not doing it at all. So, but you're right. I mean, to hire someone is ideal, but if you're not going to hire someone, you should still be prepared to do your own taxes, and you have to have the foundation to do that. So, it's like building a house on a rocky foundation. You don't want to do that.
No,
And,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So we talked about basically people starting the business, collecting their paperwork, getting everything structured basically for the foundation of their businesses.
Mhm.
Now, what are they supposed to do afterwards? Let's say they've already done the first steps that we mentioned already. Now what?
Well, as you hopefully you're first of all having those books under the accounting records are important because not just from a tax perspective, but just to see where your business is and where you want it to go. So, ongoing, you should be, you should have metrics that you're going to measure yourself against. Okay, this is how I did this quarter or this month. Let's see what I need to implement going forward to make the business grow even more and be more profitable. So you should always be paying attention to the numbers. I'd say that's really key. And by having a good system in place to do that, and that's why again it's important to have some sort of accounting, either hire someone or have you even have software to help you track that stuff. So to know, okay, is this side of the business profitable or is it not? Maybe I need to rethink how I do it a different way, or maybe I need to abandon that division altogether and do something else where it's more profitable. You know what I mean? I remember watching a movie about it's called The Foundation about McDonald's and how that started. When I got started, I got franchised, and
Hmm.
the guys who started the initial guys, they saw we're doing things their way in that certain system that like kind of like a workflow where they move the product from one phase to the next. They saw that
Yes.
they could really they saw their business was very efficient that way, and that's when they could sell the product for a lower price and still make a lot of money because of the efficiency built in. They made a lot more sandwiches, right? And they're able to sell it to people at a lower price than go sit in a diner. So same idea. You have to know what works and what doesn't work. And by tracking the numbers as a metric and seeing, okay, well, what I need to cut, what I need to increase, what cost do I need to consider to make my business more profitable. That's really what's gonna that's really something that you really need to have an eye on going forward, even after tax, outside of tax season.
That's something basically I would suggest people, depending on what your business is, probably keep an eye on it every single day.
Yeah.
Maybe revisit every week, maybe every month. Basically, just
Yep.
check your books,
Yep.
and then obviously,
Yep.
if you hired a CPA, you want to have a conversation with your CPA on a regular basis.
Of course.
So that way, yes, you
right.
hired somebody to take care of that stuff, but you want to be
Right.
in the know, basically, hey, you know what? Did we profit this month?
Yep.
Like you said before, it's like you want to know where your money,
you are.
where the money's coming in.
Right.
If I'm making enough money, should I shut down now or should I expand? You want to know all this stuff.
Or you're just make an example. You're making something. You're making some sort of product, and you have 3 versions of it. Okay, so you track it to a point where you know which product is doing the best.
Yes.
And at some point, they say, you know what? This is what those guys did. They say, you know what? Instead of selling hot dogs and those things, we're not making money from that. We're making money from hamburgers. Let's just focus on hamburgers. So
exactly.
The only way you'll be able to do that is by tracking, having metrics, having ways to figure, which product or which service is most profitable, so you can put more of your attention in that direction. So, speaking for myself, I mean, during tax season, of course, I do a tax preparation or whatever, and that's probably the most profitable at that point in time. However, when I look at some other things like the tax plan and the resolution, they don't come that often. But on a one-to-one basis, I make more money doing one of those plans than I probably have to do like 10 returns to make the same amount of money. Right? So you got to really measure. You have to constantly measure and retool and refocus to see where you are to determine where you want to be. So so to answer your point, I mean, you gotta track. You gotta track for sure. You gotta track. So if there's one thing I would say about what to do during off season, that's what you should do all the time. And to your point, daily, monthly, weekly, whatever your business is, you need to be tracking it all the time if you can.
All right. So you track, you record, you have your CPA. Now the question that everybody's probably thinking right now: how do I pick a CPA? What are the characteristics? Yeah. How do I pick one? How do I know I have the right one?
You got to make sure that first of all, you got to make sure the person is really licensed. That's the first thing, right? Make sure the license is in order.
Say that one more time, please.
Make sure their license is in order. That's important because you don't want to be dealing with someone that's unlicensed. It may speak to what's happening with them and how competent they are. I'm not saying that their people are not CPAs or not competent. I'm just saying if you're going to hire a CPA to do a certain task, you better make sure that you ought to make sure that person is duly licensed and qualified to do that work, right? And you could ask for references. You could obviously interview a couple of folks before you choose one. And again, it depends on what your goal is. Are you looking for someone to just prepare a return for you? Are you looking for someone to prepare a tax plan for you? Or do you have some other consultation need that requires requires specific knowledge and expertise? And you're going to see that out. Have that person give you some references or people you can probably talk to say, hey, what was your experience? With this person. So those are some of the things I would say to make sure that that person is the ideal person for you. And of course, it has to do with personality too. The person doesn't have to gel. Sometimes the person can be awesome, like technical wise, right? But then, just don't gel. And that's also important. You have to be able to talk. Sometimes I feel like I'm a therapist. Like I talk to people and they tell me their problems. So you have to have a certain kind of personality for people to open up. I'm not saying that I'm the most personable guy, but I'm just saying you have to have a certain kind of personality for people to open up and kind of like give you their financial information. That's huge. For someone
it's huge trust, basically. Yeah. Obviously, whoever you pick, whether you're picking a realtor or a CPA, you have to trust that person.
Of course.
And like you said, they have to be knowledgeable in that field, that specific field or industry that you're looking for. If you're opening up a business, do they have the background for this kind of business?
Of course.
So you want to know all that.
Of course.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go first.
I was gonna say, I mean, there's certain baseline knowledge that, because for example, let's say CPAs, for example, talk about CPAs. So some CPAs, like myself, I started my career. Most of us started our careers in auditing. So, some people stay doing that forever, right? They never touch a tax return. So you want that person, even though they're qualified, even though they're licensed, right? You want that person, handling your tax matters. Maybe not, because they all they've done is auditing. So you got to really make sure that you dig into the weeds and make sure you properly interview that person or individuals to make sure they're a right fit for you. And it's not just, it goes beyond just the license, it goes beyond just even industry, because certain people are very niched. And if you can find someone that's really in your niche and they can service, that's ideal. And again, it doesn't mean that another person can't do it. You know what I mean? But it's just being more efficient and more effective. I think that's a better way to do it.
All right. Well, I'm a realtor. Not a secret. If you see my information right here somewhere, right there.
So it's to my left.
Yeah. So obviously, when I do these videos, I kind of try and keep it tied to real estate. So with that being said, what do people need to know regarding real estate and taxes for the last couple of years? Anything new they should know about?
Well, I mean, I guess one of the big things for the industry is the 1035 exchanges. I know they tweak that a little bit. Used to be where you can basically do that for any type of asset that you have. No, it's strictly and solely related.
Like kind.
Yeah, like kind, but real estate though. Not you could be at one point you'd be able to do it for a car or some sort of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act changed that. That's where Trump signed it a few years ago, 2017-18. So that hasn't really changed per se. But I will say that realtors in particular, I think that that's the reason why I kind of focus on realtors, because you folks, I'm not saying you personally, but just in general, I want to point out
my people,
your people. I have come across a few where they get a chunk of money and they don't put any money away for taxes, and that's like really, that's a problem. That's an issue.
Yes.
Because if you're not doing that, you're going to end up with a big tax problem, and that's why.
It's not just realtors, basically. It's also anybody in
commission
jobs.
Commission
jobs, basically. A lot of people, basically, they're not thinking, hey, you know what? I need to put money here or separate the money.
Right.
All the money's commingled. So basically, you have to have an LLC, put the money here, do this, separate everything. You have your money basically to live. You have your money to pay your bills for your business and also for the taxes.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, like someone once said to me, and I agree 100%. When you go in business, who's your silent partner?
IRS.
I said, whether you like him or not, or her or not, depending on what your perspective. That's your partner. You got to give them their share. You got to give them their share.
Let's say that one more time, just in case the people didn't hear that. Who's your silent partner in
silent
whatever
partner?
Business?
The IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, big old Uncle Sam. That's your part. That's your partner in business. And if you don't recognize that yet, then you really have a rude awakening.
Yeah.
So if you think that way, you're always going to put away money at some point in time to give them something quarterly, and that's ideal, because not only I don't want to get into too much of the weeds, but not only do you pay a penalty for not filing a return, and the IRS has like 150 penalties that they assess. Mm-hmm. One penalty that you want to avoid is not paying enough during the year. Okay. So if you put money, even if you put some money away, you send them some money every quarter, if it's not enough, they penalize you for that.
There's another penalty. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, some people end up with like penalties and interest that really account for half of what they owe the IRS. And it's like giving the money away. It's like when I get those those red light camera tickets or whatever. I hate those things. Even when I have to pay an ATM fee, I hate that. And that's why I bank with a bank that's, I probably shouldn't. I'm not going to name the name. They're all over the place. So I can easily access an ATM terminal because I hate to pay those pesky bank fees. So same thing. I don't want to see a client, or anyone for that matter, even a non-client, having to pay, these penalties. It's just ridiculous. They're thousands of dollars. And if you figure that's only on the federal side, what about the state?
I was going to bring that up.
So right. If I would leave anything to realtors in particular, or anyone that's commissioned, really, just like make sure you do your estimated taxes every quarter. Make sure you pay that over to Uncle Sam and to the state, so that when it comes around for you to file that return, you're not stuck holding the bag. So to speak. And that bag is not going to be a pretty bag. So you don't want it to happen. So.
All right, yeah. You gave us a lot to think about. There's a lot more stuff that we probably should be talking about, but I just want to give people like a little taste, basically. And if they want more information, how can they reach you?
You can reach me by my direct line, 718-938-4601, 718-938-4601. I'm sorry, I have to slow down because I want to talk fast sometimes. But
look, this is New York. You have to talk fast.
I know. But just in case someone in southern, in the south is listening, I have to slow down a little bit.
Yes.
So yeah. So and my email is Wayne at Well, let me do this one. Wayne Scully CPA at gmail.com. Wayne, that's WAYNE SCULLY CPA at gmail.com. So that's a way to reach me by email as well. I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. We had a conversation about that already.
Yes.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and what's the other one?
YouTube.
I'm on YouTube as well.
TikTok.
Not TikTok. No, not TikTok.
Not yet.
I
Okay.
haven't gotten TikTok yet, but
Okay.
I'm on primarily Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Right.
So you can just search my name, Wayne Scully, or at W Scully CPA. There's different handles, but once you search my name, not too many Scullys are CPAs. Not too many Wayne Scullys CPAs. So you'll be able to easily find me. So that's it.
All right. One last question.
Sure.
Which island are you from?
I'm from Jamaica, sir. I'm from Jamaica.
All right.
How about you?
Haitian.
Haiti. Okay, cool.
Right.
Well,
I don't have a flag.
I could probably tell by the saint in your
last name. Yeah. I got the red hat, wearing blue pants. So representing.
Okay, cool.
Congratulations. Awesome. Congratulations on the Olympics, by the way.
Oh yeah. And by the way, today's Jamaica's independence. I think we're 68 today. So that's it's very fitting. So they're doing great. They're doing great. I mean, we boat is gone, but we produce those guys. I mean, so you have another one coming around soon.
There's always new ones coming up. So
always new boats, or boat-like, or close to boat. You know what I mean?
Yes. All right. Before I forget, I want to let everybody know that basically Wayne here is in New York. He's in Queens, but he works with everybody. If you need help, definitely reach out to him. His contact information is at the end of this video. Regarding anything in real estate, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, give me a call. Obviously, if you're investing or any of that stuff, you want financial information, definitely talk to Wayne. Make sure that's a viable option that you can do. And then when he gives you the thumbs up, you give me a call and I'll help you with the real estate part. My contact information, hold on, I remember where the thing is pointing right here.
It's to my left, that's right.
Yeah, so right here where it says scan me, you're going to take your phone, turn the camera on, hit that little button, and boom, my information should pop up on your screen. Also, my contact information will be at the end of the video as well. So again, we just want to give you some information so you know basically where to go when you have more questions. And know that there's people out there to answer those questions for you. Yeah, one more.
Can I say real quick before we go? One thing I didn't mention about businesses, there's a credit called the Advanced Employee Retention Credit. And I think a lot of people, especially businesses that started after February 15, 2020. If you're a new business like a startup, you ought to look at that credit because that's actually where the feds are giving money up to like $100,000 in the next 2 quarters.
Okay.
It's really like seed money, really. It's a credit that you get if you hire some folks, put them on payroll. I mean, you get to use federal funds to pay those people, right? And not have to use your own money to pay them. So it's a way to help grow your business and get a credit while you're doing it. So people should look out for that Advanced Employee Retention Credit. It's part of COVID. So
for more information like this, you definitely got to give Wayne a call. Wayne, give them your number one more time.
718-938-4601, 718-938-4601.
All right, folks.
Leave me a message if you don't get me, and I'll get back to you. Sure.
Yeah, well, if you can't reach him, give me a call, and I'll put you in contact with him. I want to say thank you again, Wayne, for doing this. To the folks that are watching this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends. If it's real estate, give me a call. If it's CPA, you need a good CPA. A knowledgeable CPA, a trustworthy CPA. CPA basically can speak the patois.
Yes,
you want to call. You want to call my man over here.
So I'm bilingual,
There you go.